Followers. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome to Live with Jay 110. Hopefully, everybody's doing good. Hopefully, we get a good crowd on here. What's up to Chris Grima, Shortcuts? I see you guys already on here. My my alarm thing's still going off. I still haven't changed the battery, even though I bought a battery about 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't put it on. So you'll hear a chirp, 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 chirp. We'll try to change it tomorrow, I say. So what's up with y'all? Little pimpin'. How's everybody doing? We got a few things I want to talk about today. I hadn't done a live with Jay in a minute. Took a day off today from work. Kind of was chilling at the house. Had a few things I had to do. Now I'm home, relaxing, chilling. Want to say what's up to everybody. Want to let you guys know I'm still here. Yep, chirps on deck. I think it was raining way earlier. Right now, it's not. I think like late earlier, way earlier it was. I kind of woke up kind of late today. I woke up around like 3, and it was like raining a little bit, but it hasn't rained that much yet. Like at night, it hasn't rained. I went out earlier around like 6 and had a few things I could do. It didn't rain at all. It was just kind of wet a little bit, but not raining. Cold though. It's cold outside. Julio Solario, what's going on, brother? But yeah, man. So what's up with everybody? How's everybody been? Press the like, you know what I mean? Donate some money, whatever you want to do. But nah. So what's up with everybody? How's everybody doing out there? Hopefully everybody is doing good. We're gonna get started in a minute. Want to see if more people get on. I haven't been on StreamYard in a while. My StreamYard screen kind of trippy. It's different. I don't know. Save that. Nah, I'm not gonna do links today. Today I'm just talking and then I'm gonna tap out once I'm done. But yeah, man. So what's up with everybody? Leave it in the comments. How you guys been? What you guys been up to? All that good stuff. Like farts. Remember that one time I had gas really badly. That's when I wasn't feeling well. But anyway, windy. It's windy out there. It's a little windy outside. Yeah, just busy with school. That's good. Shit, get your education on. SA. Nothing wrong with that. So I want to start off this live. Just let you guys know that I heard that the actor Val Kilmer passed away today. I think it said he was 65 years old. R.I.P. to him. He was very popular. What, like late 90s, early 2000s, like early late 90s, late 80s. I mean, through the 90s. Pretty popular actor. I remember he came on a lot of movies. But yeah, I heard he passed away. It's crazy. A lot of fools from back in the days are passing away. A lot of old school actors, man. But yeah, that's crazy. Oh yeah, he did come on the doors. He played Billy the Kid. He came on Batman. Uh, he came on that movie about prison. I forget what it's called. What it called? Fallon. He played on a lot of movies back in the days. Your 90s crush. Nah, but he played on a lot of movies back in the days. So I remember, for sure, remember him from a lot of movies when I was a youngster in the 90s and late 80s too, when he was younger. He always played trippy characters. But yeah, man. But yeah, 65, that's not that old. Oh, fuck. Which movie was that? But yeah, man, I mean, he did come on a lot of movies back in the days. And then he disappeared, huh? He just kind of stopped making movies after that. Oh, Fallon. I seen that movie, but I don't remember it hella well though. But I did see it some years back. He played like a he played kind of like a quiet prisoner, right? But he was like a killer or something like that. He got sick, probably. A movie Heat. Well, oh yeah, he was in Heat. Huh? I forgot about that. Yeah, I seen that movie back in the days. Heat. Yeah, that movie Felon. I seen it, but I seen it some years back. I don't remember it well, but I did see it. I remember he was in it for sure. But yeah, man. But yeah, Val Kilmer passed away. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I guess his health wasn't that well. You know what I mean? So that contributed to him passing. That one, the dude kills the home intruder and goes to prison. I believe so. I believe so. And then he becomes like part of a gang, right? Like a white supremacist gang or something like that. I think. Because I know there's another movie that's similar. No, not American History X. There's another one that I think it was made by the same person. I think it's called Shot Caller. I think Felon and Shot Caller, they're kind of similar. I'm not sure. Felon. There was Felon and there was one called Shot Caller. And I think they were made by the same person. Look, that's what I remember. But I did see Fallon, I see Shot Caller, I seen both of them. They're kind of similar in many ways. Oh God, in a car crash and got locked up. Shotgun the coke. Whoopers. Yeah, man. So what's up? Let's talk about I know I talked about it, but I haven't talked about it on my official live. Let's talk about this whole everything's been going on with the whole Adam 12 and people going to jail and fags listening. You know what I mean? Am I surprised? Not really. You know, like I've said many times, like people have pretty much given these guys like Adam 12 and Vlad and a whole host of others the power to basically be the voice of hip hop and get let people get on there and talk reckless and get themselves in a wreck. I said it before many times. You just gotta watch what you say on these podcasts, on these channels, on your own channel. If you have one like me, because you could wreck yourself. You could wreck yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, like that old saying goes. Because you could wreck yourself because they be watching. Like I said, they even be watching mines, so they be watching. And if you know who they are, you know who they are. You feel me? Remember, wasn't there that other dude? I keep forgetting his name. That dude that was from Oakland who said he caught 19 bodies. It's like, whether it's true or not, that's just not a smart thing to say, even if you're trolling, because someone is listening and someone is going to investigate. Is this dude trolling or is he telling the truth? You know what I mean? And why? Why would you go on something and say something dumb, man? And like I said, all this stuff with Big U and Brick Baby and all these dudes, you know, I don't know the whole because I don't watch no Jumper. I've watched a few videos that talked about it, and I guess a lot of these dudes go on these channels and they air out like stuff that's going on presently with Big U and with other gangs and maybe the stuff they're doing themselves, how they're making people check in and extorting people and possibly even offing people, you know what I mean, taking people out. I mean, why would you be dumb enough to talk about that kind of stuff on a podcast, on YouTube or on anything, especially if you live the criminal life and you don't want to get caught? I mean, that's basically self snitching as far as I'm concerned, and snitching out your whole crew. And that stuff with Ricos and the Rico and all that stuff and conspiracies, that's no joke, man. That's not stuff to play with. That's stuff that they could throw you in the pen to do federal time for a long time. Because, federal isn't like state. They don't give you parole or good behavior or time served or none of that shit. You get locked up, you're going to do the time they give you. You know what I mean? It's not a good look. These dudes, majority of people who are going under and get killed or arrested like a curse. Well, I got loose cannon and all the jumpers told Big U or Adam turned it over to the feds. Probably. Oh, yeah, I heard some stuff about Wack, too. I think that his ox. I mean, he's what? Wack is blood, right? Aren't these other dudes like Crips? But it's just like, I don't know about Vlad because I can't say too much about Vlad because I haven't seen anything like that going on with Vlad. At least not that I know of. And Vlad's channel for the most part is just interviews, nothing really crazy. But Adam 12, his channel has basically become a cesspool of bullshit and garbage, bro. It's not the hip hop channel it once was. It's basically a thing of drama and gang promotion and what do you call it? What's the word I want to use? Glorification of gangs and violence and bullshit, drama and gossiping and bullshit. From what I'm seeing, I don't watch his channel, but from what I'm seeing that's going on, that's what it kind of has become. And it's weird how, like, some people will cry about Latinos being in hip hop. They'll cry about a Latino like Fat Joe saying that Latinos have something to do with hip hop. We're the problem, right? According to some people in the black community. But yet you have all these white dudes with suspect connections, and they're basically having people in the hip hop world crash out, go to jail. They're making money off black people's misery, but they're not the problem. Ain't it funny how that works sometimes? I never understood that, man. You hate on another minority for being in hip hop, but you give these white boys who are help destroy your community and your musical genre, you give them a pass. Make it make sense to me. You feel me? But I've said it. Yeah, the gatekeepers are full of fucking shit because they don't say nothing about Vlad or especially Adam 12 and all these other idiots. And these dudes are literally destroying the genre and literally getting people in the genre locked up and you know what I mean? And it's just unfortunate that rap itself has become a thing, an art form where you have to be a criminal or a degenerate, you know what I mean, to be part of it. It's just kind of weird and backwards to me because if you're old like me, you would know that rap wasn't like that back in the days. Yeah, rap maybe always had the street element in it, always, even when it was more positive. There were always gangsters and street people who supported it or whoever even funded it. But it was kind of like how it was in the old days, kind of like how jazz and like Frank Sinatra type music and the jazz music of the 40s, it was funded by the mafia and by Jewish mafia groups. You know what I mean? But the music wasn't about mafias or violence or killing. They were just funding it. The same thing with the streets. The streets was funding hip hop. Even when hip hop was just a thing about rapping and rhyming and breakdancing, but the lyrics and the music wasn't about that. That's the same thing that's happening to corridos in Mexico. Corridos were just ballads, of poor people telling a story, singing about whatever was going on around them, or singing about love, or singing about a woman they like. But now, same thing is happening there, where the music is becoming a toxic glorification of drug cartels and drug culture. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I don't even think that, that's not even watered down. That's a literal fucking toxic, um that's a toxic, a toxic form of music, man, or what was it? A degenerate toxic form of music. It's what it's becoming. It's sad, man. It's sad because what the fuck is the point of becoming a rapper if your life expectancy is low? That's so fucking retarded. You could get killed, or you could, you got to deal with criminals and you got to deal with stupid shit, bro. And I believe that all that was done by design to fill up the prisons. I think that's a true story. Maybe the famous story that's online about this meeting. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a famous thing online about a meeting where they were trying to turn rap into gangster rap because they said it was going to generate more money for the private prison complex. You know what I mean? That could be true. There could be elements of truth to it. Maybe the whole story isn't true, but you know, if you really know your history, yeah, the meeting exchange hip hop, that could be real. I mean, who knows? It could be fake too, but there could be elements of reality to it. Because I mean, think about it. I'm old enough to remember. I don't know if Shortcuts or Julio's old enough to remember, or Chris, but I'm old enough to remember when rap was just like party music. It was breakdancing music. It was, Run DMC, BC Boys, the Fat Boys, Curtis Blow, all the old school Rob Bass, so many others. And then next thing you know, it's like you get NWA, you get Ice T, you get Schoolie D, even Too Short. You could throw them in the mix or that. And I've always said I don't have a problem with gangster rap per se. I think it probably was a natural progression of rap in many ways. I think that is true. It was a natural progression. But I think I think what happened was that instead of gangster rap being one thing and real hip hop being another, or maybe them all kind of mixing, like these are all different styles of hip hop where we could respect and like all of it. I think it became where somewhere down the line they push, well, this is hip hop now. Now you have to be a gangster. Now you have to be a criminal. Now you have to be this. You have to be a real one to be in rap. There's no more breakdancing or friends. How many of us have them, or jam on it or any of that stuff? You know what I mean? Now it's like you have to be a criminal. You have to be a killer. You have to be a pimp. You have to be a this. You have to be NWA. You have to be Too Short. You have to be Ice T. You know what I mean? To some degree, that's what it became. And I don't want to blame per se those groups. I think NWA, Too Short, and all them were just a natural progression. I don't really blame them for it. I know there's a lot of people that blame NWA and stuff like that, but I think it was a natural progression. Yes, the shit was getting fucked up back then. You know what I mean? You know, uh, That was the era of crack, that was the era of colors, that was the era of gangs, that was the era of, a lot of messed up things that were happening. And yeah, gangs and drugs had been around even before hip hop, had been around even before the 80s. But that was a time when it was getting really, really violent and it was getting really serious. So, and the police was just like, abusing their authority left and right. So naturally, there was going to be, some rapper that was going to be like, oh shit, look at all this stuff around me. I'm going to start rapping about it. Even if I don't live it, but I'm seeing it around me. You know what I mean? I mean, if you really think about it, and it's funny because this is how much rap was party music back in the days. Because I remember watching a documentary about Grandmaster Flash and about the song "The Message." If you don't know what song that is, I'll remind you. It's like a jump sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from moving under. So, in many ways, you could say that was the first reality gangster rap song ever. Because before that song, there had never been a rap song like that. They talked about that really was the first reality rap. And if you hear a lot of rappers that became gangster rappers, they'll tell you that that was the song that inspired them to rap about reality, about what was going on. The funny thing is that Grandmaster Flash, that crew, the Furious Five, they didn't want to make the song, believe it or not. It's hard to believe as that is. They themselves, I remember it clearly in a documentary, they didn't want to make that song because they felt that people weren't going to relate to it because that wasn't what rap was about. You get that? Tell me what a different world it has become. They didn't want to really, and that song came out what, 82, 83, maybe 84, but I want to say 82, 83 roughly. But Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, I think Melly Mel too was one of them. They didn't want to. They said they didn't want to make the song because at the time they felt people weren't going to relate to it. Because rap at that time was break dancing and rhyming, and I got skills, and everybody say ho, the roof, the roof, the roof is on fire. And I know that was rap at that time, and they thought, well, this shit about broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the sidewalk. Just don't care. They thought that people were going to be like, what the fuck is this? But what ended up happening was that the song was more of a success than they thought. I think it became one of their most successful songs. And a lot of people resonated with it. And a lot of gangster rappers, I think even Too Short, I don't know if you could call Too Short a gangster rapper, but he definitely was one of the first rappers to really talk trash, you know what I mean? And talk about the streets. Even he said, if I remember right, even he said that song made him want to rap about the stuff he was rapping about because it was that song, The Message. Now, I'm not saying that The Message was a bad song. The fucking song was dope. Well, the point of it was that at the time, rap was such a different genre of music that the rappers themselves didn't believe in the song. You know what I mean? They thought that song was going to bomb. They were like, nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to hear about, people who can't pay their bills and shit like that. But no, it had a different effect. But but that's what I'm saying. The natural progression from that song, that was the natural progression. The natural evolvement, you know what I mean, of it becoming reality rap and eventually becoming gangster rap. But I don't even know if you could call it gangster rap. I mean, they got drill music and they got all this other shit. But it's just sad what it become, man. It's sad that the roots of the music have been diluted so badly. And even talking about the old rap music, you're almost like a square. And it's like, wow, when the fuck did that happen, man? But that's what it is, man. And then, Adam 22 or Adam 12. And I guess you could say Vlad and some of these other content creators. even DJ Academics, even though he's technically a Caribbean, you know, they're leading to the downfall of this music. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Same here. I don't even know any new rappers, but it is true though, because by the time I was in high school, any kind of like positive rap was gone, bro. Any kind of rap was just hip hop, was pretty much gone, bro. You know what I mean? I mean, there were like Souls of Mischief and some of those groups for sure, and I used to bump those groups. Farside, Souls of Mischief. I like some of Del the Funky Homo Sapiens, those stuff. The Bums, if you guys remember them, Brothers Under Madness. Uh, Even some of the East Coast stuff I like. You know what I mean? But yeah, but eventually at one point it just all became gangster, and then Tupac got killed, Biggie got killed, and all this other crazy drama. You feel me? And yeah, it's just unfortunate that that's what that art form became. What's up, Fambo? But that's uh that's just how it goes, man. But I really do strongly believe that that was pushed for sure. In the 80s and 90s. Maybe in the late 80s, it was, like I said, the progression, the involvement, but definitely someone caught on to it and said, if we promote uh, this kind of music and only this kind of music and only sign rappers that rap like this, we could fill up the prisons. We could give more work to the police. We could give more money to the funeral companies. We don't talk about the funeral companies. The people that I've said this for years. You got to look at the coroner, the funeral homes, cemetery. They all make money from our death, bro. That's the reality. Some might say, well, yeah, we're going to die someday. We are, but they especially make money off young death, premature death, let's say. But, yeah, man, and I really feel that this is just all a psyops, man. All this Adam 12 and all this stuff, bro. And I can't lie. I supported a lot of this music, a lot of the gangster rap music that we call. What's up, Fambo? How you been? How's everything, brother? But yeah, man. But I don't know. Tell me in the comments what you think. You know. But once again, I just gotta say, you gotta be really careful what you say, man. You know. I don't care if you're black, if you're Rasa, even if you're white or whatever. You gotta be careful what you talk about, man. Because yeah, he did. I heard about that. Because they're watching, bro. I know for a fact they're watching, bro. And they even watch my channel from time to time. If you know who they are. That is true, man. I think some of that toxic stuff is going to eventually bring that genre down. You know what I mean? Because right now, hip hop is the most popular form of music. But I don't know. I think some people hopefully will start getting tired of the bullshit. God, never seen you in the hood. You should. But yeah, man. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about. That it's like it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that all this stuff with Adam 12 and all this stuff is going on. Not really. Does it surprise me that a lot of fools bump their gums about stupid shit they've done and they're getting caught up? Not really. You know, let's face it, bro. A lot of dudes who are running the criminal life aren't up there in the head anyway to begin with, bro. So it doesn't really surprise me. You know, some dudes want the clout because they think it's going to make them harder or better or a better criminal. So they're not sticking to any G code if there ever was one. You know what I mean? I think that those times are dead and gone. You feel me? and it just doesn't surprise me. I'm just saying, like, if you're this hardcore fucking criminal and you got bodies and you got this and you got that, keep that shit to yourself, man. Because I always thought real criminals keep that shit to themselves. It's like the mafia. The mafia would say that if you commit a crime and you bring up that crime again, they're gonna tell you, "What? What the fuck are you talking about? You're crazy. We never did nothing like that." That's how you should look at it. At least that's what I heard was one of the old codes of the mafia. That if you did something and you brought that up again to someone, they're gonna tell you they don't know what you're talking about. That's true, Fambo. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I'm talking about the how rap has become kind of a degenerate, toxic, crime-filled genre. And I think that was done by design. Personally, you feel me? That's what I think. But yeah, man, that's probably all I'm gonna talk about the Adam thing. I've mentioned it a few times, but I haven't, like I said, I haven't really got to talk about it in an official live like today. Uh, but if you want to keep supporting these fucking J Cats like Adam, it's up to you. But I don't follow these people. You know what I mean? Those people are parasites, bro. To me, and unfortunately, it's people of color, black and brown, and even white folks that support and make these people. You know what I mean? We basically have gave them the torch of rap and hip hop. They're the voice of rap and hip hop. And it's unfortunate. I'm surprised the gatekeepers that bitch about Latinos in hip hop aren't bitching about that. You know what I mean? Just go to show you uh, how hypocritical some people are. You know. But yeah, that's all I'm really got to say about it. Other than that, let's talk about another funny fucking situation. Oh man, I'm telling you, bro. The internet is turning people into psychopaths, bro. I'm telling you. Something is very wrong with the internet. I said, I guess it's again clout and egos. You know what I mean? Yeah, that is true about Lord Jamar, Chris. Another hypocrite. But anyway, uh again. But another topic that's fucking funny that's going around the internet. Let's talk about Little West. Little West Watson. And when I mean little, I mean little. You know what I mean? With Adam 22, I don't know that fool. So there's a new controversy about Wes Watson. Before I get into what the controversy is, let's talk about Wes Watson himself. I guess he's some wood who's originally, I believe, from San Diego. Uh, oh, you're gonna laugh at this one, shortcut, and it's gonna be kind of on the queer side, but it's gonna be funny. But but um, but Wes Watson, he's a content creator. I honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I've never watched any of his stuff, bro. If I ever did, I maybe watched a couple of his videos here and there, and I wasn't too. It didn't do nothing for me. Um, it was just a bunch of yelling and glorification of prison and just stupidity. You know what I mean? Now, where I was surprised was later on in life when I heard he was becoming like an influencer and like he was giving courses and doing this and that and may at first I thought it was courses on exercise because he's muscular and that's what I thought it was. I thought it was maybe he was giving courses on how to get in better shape, but it turns out he was giving life courses. I'm like, life courses? How the fuck is this dude giving life courses? He's an ex-con scumbag. You know what I mean? And it's like that one surprised me. I was surprised of that one, to be honest with you. I didn't know that he was trying to be like an Andrew Tate, where he was trying to give life advice courses. I thought it was maybe exercise course, which would make sense because that's more on his thing. I wouldn't be surprised. And hey, he probably could have did that and made a lot of money from that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dudes who do like health and fitness, but yeah, I found out that he was also doing like life courses. Like, the fuck are you gonna learn from this guy? You know what I mean? And then there was that whole debacle where he went on Fresh and Fit and he got into it with a dude named Andrew Wilson, a nerdy guy. He tried to punk that dude, and the dude kept clowning him. You know what I mean? And then that was the first time we seen Wes Watson's obsession with man boobs. You know what I mean? Um, he has a really weird obsession with male boobs. I don't know what it is, bro. Maybe he wants to suck on some. I have no clue. But he does. Like, on all his videos, he's always talking about man boobs. Weird, bro. I got man boobs. I mean, I don't know if I should show them to Wes, man. I might get violated. But I think the Andrew Wilson argument really showed Wes Watson's true colors. He's just this uh, narcissistic charlatan, idiot. You know what I mean? And he couldn't handle this dude making fun of him. Or at least not making fun of him, but clowning him in kind of a respectful manner. Because if you really look at it, Andrew Wilson wasn't really cussing him out. Andrew Wilson was just giving them smart ass one-liners. Like when I think uh, Wes Watson says something like, "We should all agree that men shouldn't have tits," and then Andrew Wilson said, "Well, we should all agree that men should have hair," or something like that. And he was just clowning him, but that made Wes Watson look very immature and very insecure. And in the eye, especially if you're trying to be like this alpha male, or I'm a man, you know what I mean? That's a bad look if you claim you're like this alpha male fucking leader that doesn't give a fuck and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So that made Wes Watson look bad, and that was the beginning of his downfall. You know, he always bragged about how he had all this money and he had all these bitches and all these blah, 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 blah. But that right there showed that he was just this immature, insecure man. You know what I mean? Playing this tough guy role with his prison stories and his muscles. Now, I'm not hating on Wes. I don't have nothing against him. He never said nothing bad about me. He probably would just say I'm some fat guy with man boobs. Probably want to suck on him. Probably. The only thing I could give Wes Watson, the only thing I can give him is that he's a former criminal. He's an ex-con, but he did make his lane, his path, and he made a lot of money doing it. Whether it was bullshit or not, I can give him that. I can't hate on him on that. You know what I mean? He did do that. Instead of becoming a burden to society, he actually did something like a man and made his lane and made a lot of money. Hey, I can't hate on that at all, you know? But, you know, in more recent times, you know, he got into it with some dude at the gym. Instead of fighting, I guess, the dude at the gym on a one-on-one, they jumped the dude, and now he might be facing jail time for that. You know what I mean? And he has that going. So there's a new thing which is more innocent. There's a new thing that's hitting the internet, and I guess it proves that steroids are not good for you, or maybe he was already like that. But supposedly, there's two things that happened recently, actually. I forgot. A guy, Wes Watson, has been on this thing about his height. According to his prison paperwork, it says he's 5'8". and he claims he's 6 foot. So there's been this thing where everyone's saying he's 5'8", and he's like spazzing out, being insecure about his height. And it's like, who gives a fuck? You got all this money, bro. You got all this fame. Who gives a fuck? Joe Rogan is 5'6". He doesn't give a fuck about his height. You know what I mean? I'm 5'11". I could be 5'10". I was told I was 5'11", but if I was 5'10", really don't matter. I'm almost 6 foot. Like 6 foot people come to me like about right. I come to their mouth probably comes like right here. A 6 foot person. You know what I mean? I'm almost there. You know, I don't care. You know what I mean? I really don't care if you're short or tall. I don't give a fuck. But this dude is so insecure about it. You know what I mean? And I guess it turns out there's some dude that challenged him at the gym again, like homie says. And yeah, he does. He wish he was a little bit taller. He wish he was. Well, he is a baller. I'll give him that. Wes Watson got money, so he is a baller, but he's just not taller. That's the thing. But I guess this dude confronted him at the gym again, and he it was a friendly encounter, and he just wanted to measure Wes Watson once and for all to see if he really was 6 foot. And Wes Watson spazzed out and threatened to beat him up and had all his goons surround the dude. And all the dude was saying, and the dude's a muscular motherfucker that looks kind of like Wes Watson. But he wanted to measure him to put it to rest. But Wes Watson, you know, his insecurities. And then a new thing happened after that. Apparently, what's that guy, John Bravo? He always calls his girlfriend Shadamuta. And if you don't know what Shadamuta means, that's I'm guessing John Bravo must be Arabic or Jewish, because that's like a Middle Eastern word for whore or bitch. Like Shadamuta. It's kind of like saying puta. It's probably where the word puta comes from. But I guess Wes Watson was on a video showing off one of his shadamutas, and you know, he likes those girls that have fake tits and fake asses. Yeah, it's Arabic, but Jews also use it too. So I guess maybe it'd be Hebrew too. You know, I mean, it's all the same part of the world. Because I used to know some Israelis that used to say shadamuta too. That's where I've actually first heard that word, was from a Jew. But anyway, he was filming one of his shadamutas, and I guess she was like twerking or something, and I guess it was at Wes Watson's house or hotel, someplace. And I guess Wes Watson was wearing no clothes, but he wasn't filming himself. He was filming the shadamuta. But I haven't seen the video, just the description that I've seen on the videos that have been online. There's a lot of them. I guess you can see Wes Watson's junk. And I guess maybe he hit a mirror or something, and Wes Watson had no clothes on, and you can see his junk. And let's just say, you know, he has a micro penis, according to what people are saying. So it looks like, and hey, I don't talk about dick size. I don't brag about dick size. I think that's weird. But I think because it's Wes Watson and he's such an insecure chode, and he brags about how he's just alpha male, I think it is true. Goddamn, karma's fucking with you, homie. This fool got a small pee-pee. His crackies down there is the size of a light switch. This is all the dude's working with. And hey, look, I'm not John Holmes. I'm not fucking Dirk Diggler or Ron Jeremy or some black dude with a 12-inch pecker. I'm not that either. You feel me? But hey, at least the girls I've been with can say, hey, Jose satisfied me. I don't know about Wes. So I'm gonna call him Little Wesley now. That's his new name, Little Wesley. And this has been going viral. There's hella vid. If you will look it up, bro, you'll find something about it. It's just another like another thing going against this pendejo. But I think I think it's his own ego and it's his own ego and his own, how can I say, um insecurities that get him into this. You know what I mean? It's like if he was Wes Watson, some regular dude, no one would probably even be making a video about this. But because he's the super alpha male, it's not a good look. But I mean, like I said, who knows if maybe that's just what happened taking so many steroids, because I heard that happens when you take a lot of steroids. But yeah, apparently Wes Watson is Little Wesley Watson now. And I don't know. I guess that's why girls leave him all the time. That's why he has a new girlfriend, you know, because he has no way of satisfying them, you know, or he has a little way of satisfying them. But yeah, man. But yeah, if you don't believe me, that's been going viral all over the internet. But it's just funny. What's up, Joe Mama? Woody Woodpecker, exactly. You know what I mean? Tell me in the comments what you think, man. You know, like I said, I have no issue with Wes Watson. I don't know that motherfucker, so you know, like I said, the only thing that scares me about Wes Watson is that he's gonna get turned on by my male boobs. I would say that's the only thing that kind of scares me about him a little bit. But what do you think? Like I think one of the reasons people, and I've said this before, one of the reasons people like Wes Watson are popular, I think is because there's a lack of real male role models out there. And I think a lot of youngsters that maybe don't have father figures, they see some loudmouth idiot like this and they think that that's what embodies a man. And it's like it's bullshit. You know, they're being led down the wrong path. You know what I mean? It's no different than people that feel that like gangsters or like criminals embody what a man is. You know, it's the same thing. And yeah, Wes Watson is a former criminal, so you know. But it's not just Wes Watson. I can't blame it on him. You know, you got other frogs like Fresh and Fit and others too, bro. And I think it's just the the lack of a lot of male role models out there. You know what I mean? Thank God I had a male role model. You know what I mean? Thank God I grew up with my dad. Thank God I had a man to set me straight. But there's a lot of youngsters that don't have that, bro. And they grew up with their female. What's up, Iron Fist? They grow up only with their moms, and they lack that father figure, and they're looking for one. And unfortunately, sometimes they find the wrong ones. You know, or they find like these frogs that try to say that being a man is being a loudmouth and being an idiot and being egotistical and being stupid and telling war stories and being a retard, you know, and that's not so. Gummer. Does. Yeah, I mean anybody, you know what I mean? That is true. There's some people that they get led by like criminally minded people down the wrong path a lot of times, you know. Uncle Dad's a good role model. Where is that fool? He ain't even on here. Uncle Dave was pretty funny. But nah, it's just like, it's just funny though, this whole West Washington thing. It's sad. For they act like little kids. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like if you're in your 40s and 50s and you're still bragging about shit you did when you were in high school, bro. It's like, come on, dude. What have you done since? God, not you feel me? Can't be stuck on that shit forever, man. You know, frick the blade. Let's go to the blade. Fuck it. No, I'm playing. The blade. I might hit the blade after this. No, I'm playing. But anyway, God, you. Nah, I haven't hit the blade in a long time. The blade. I ain't gonna lie. I went through a phase where I was either getting it for free, but if I was too much in the mood, fuck it, I paid for it a couple times. I had it at Fadolico a while ago. I'm man enough to admit it. I'm not like Wes Watson. They'd be like faking everything with his sharmutas. Is it still popular? I don't know. I have no clue, bro. I don't be out there like that. It's an expensive habit like drugs. Actually, it was cheaper then. It's probably more expensive now. Don Julio. Uh, But as ugly as I am, I did go through a phase where I was messing around with a lot of females. But I was a little bit thinner, and I was very confident at the time. My confidence level is not what it used to be. It still is a little bit, but not what it used to be. I used to be very fucking confident, and I wasn't afraid to talk to females, bro. I still ain't, to be honest with you. I just don't. I don't. I don't relate to a lot of females now, bro. They're all hella fucking young, and I feel old already. So that's the only thing. The only women that I've talked to that I could relate to are girls like in their 30s, maybe early 40s. Fig, I'm assuming that's what Figueroa. I've never been down. That's in LA, right? Uh I don't know where the Blade is in Sacramento. When I used to live in Sacramento in the early 90s, I think it was on Stockton Boulevard. Because I remember I was little at the time. We would drive down Stockton, and at night you would see hella hookers walking around. I don't know if that's still the Blade in Sacramento. I do remember there was a Blade in North Sac too, because you used to see hella hookers. But I don't think it's like that. I think it was on Fulton, I think, but I don't think they have that anymore. No, I didn't live. I didn't live near there. Shortcuts. I live kind of far from Stockton Boulevard. Not far, but not close to it either. When I was a kid, I remember. I don't remember it, but I remember people talking about it. The whole stroll or the Blade was in San Pablo in West Oakland. That's what I remember hearing when I was a kid. I remember Cap used to be the Blade too. I think it might still be in San Francisco and O'Farrell Street over there in the Tenderloin back in the days. Yeah, there weren't really hookers on East 14th when I was a kid. When I was a youngster, I didn't start seeing I didn't start seeing hookers on East 14th till like maybe the late 90s, early 2000s is when I remember. Before that, if there were, I just don't remember seeing them. I remember it was more West Oakland, maybe in the deep too. I don't remember. I don't know. International, each 14. You know what I mean? Same shit. I guess it depends, Joe. Depends what quality of women he has, how many women he has, what his game is. You know, I think a lot of pimps now are not really doing the blade thing no more. I think only like the low end pimps do that. I think a lot of pimps now are doing like OnlyFans and shit like that. Kelpie, whatever happened to that J Cat? I remember that fool, little Kelpie. Kelpie, heck, dude, that fool made a fool out of himself. What a little Kelpie. But yeah, Kelpie. They did that fool dirty on Adam 12's channel. Gorilla pimping. Community called Getty. Probably better thing for him. The only one I remember, Joe Mama, was a youngster, bro, an underage girl, who the cops were like moving her around, selling her to to different cops. Weird, bro. That was a weird story, bro. I forget what her name was, but she was underage, bro. And the cops, I'm assuming that were knowing about it. And all the cops, I don't think any of the cops got charged with it. I don't remember. Maybe they did. I can't remember. That was a while ago. But yeah, I remember that. There was like some cops from Richmond, from Oakland, from even like Livermore, some of the more nicer towns. Like, wow, what the fuck? You would think the cops would protect this girl, but you see, she was a Latina girl, bro. And instead of protecting her, they used her, bro. Cops. Shows you how much they respect our women. You feel me? JP, I don't know. I don't know about him, bro. Did they? I can't remember, bro. That was a while ago, that story. I do remember that story, but I can't remember. I'd have to go read about it. Filthy Riches, bro. What did he do? I don't remember, bro. About Filthy Riches, bro. I maybe heard something about it, but I'm not too familiar with the story. Oh, was he a pimp or something? Yeah, I don't remember if anyone got locked up over that situation. What was her name? Wasn't it like something like Celeste Guap, I think was the name of the girl. Or I left the name she was going by. Something like that. This girl tied up and tortured her. Wow. Did they go to jail for it? Well, they killed her or just tortured her? Either or, it's not good. Consuelo? That's an old school name. Oh shit, BJ, what's up, bro? How you been? Dominicano Chico. How's life in New Jersey? I think she was either Nicaraguense or Puerto Rican or something. Puro BJ, what's up, fool? When you taking me to the DR, bro? Let's go out there and meet some Dominicanas. I'd go out there to the DR. That'd be fun to go out there. They probably have some fine ass females out there. See, BJ, we don't really got Dominican girls in the Bay Area, so it would be nice to see what they looking like. They have awesome, I bet. And they talk with the accent. But yeah, man. So how's everything? Where you at? Near New Jersey, right? New Jersey? Oh yeah, yeah. She was half Dominican. Yeah. Jose saving his money. Nah, I wish, bro. I should take a trip out there. I mean, I've been to Colombia. I'd like to go check out the DR. I'm still in New Jersey. Is it New Jersey? Patterson, New Jersey? That's Jalen La Mas Viral. Mexicans, Dominicans are like cousins. Yeah, we're all kind of cousins, all Latinos in one way or another. Even though we deny it, we're all kind of related one way or another. I've always said that. We just want to act like we're different. Dave, I'm surprised Dave hasn't got it on here. That's funny. Kissing cousins, shit for real. I got Puerto Rican family members. Yeah, I know you told me, Chris. Boricuas. The only people they ain't really our cousins are the Argentinians. Punjabs. I used to date one. She wasn't Punjabi, but she was Indian. Long time ago. Hookers in the D are awesome. Probably cheap too. La República Dominicana. It's a trip though, BJ, how Dominican, the island of Hispaniola or Quisqueya is is two countries, bro. Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and they're both so different from each other. That always tripped me out, bro. But yet they're the same island. One of the food is similar. Hey BJ, you cool with any Haitians? Have I met one? Yeah, I've met some before. Yeah, I used to work by the Blade a long time ago. I think I told this story before, and some of the hookers they were friendly, bro. They would come by and start talking to me. They were chill. Long time ago. That was a fun job. I'm cool with everybody. Big Mike. Nah, I haven't seen him. Quicky's at work. I can't. I can't uh, deny nor confess to that. At least I had something to work with. I'm not like little Wesley. Like little Wesley. Oh man. Latinas. Really? Out here, when I see them, I see more black girls out there. Once in a while, you might see a Latina or a white girl. Yeah, when I was younger, I remember most of the hookers I would see were black or white, majority of them when I was hella young. But I didn't pick up hookers when I was young. I used to fuck all the time, so, you know. But I remember like the ones I would see walking around were usually black or white back then. The morenas. No, but a lot of the ones I see out there, when I do see them, most of them are black. Most of them seem like. Once in a while, you'll see maybe a white girl or a Latina, but not. It's not that common. Maybe in LA it is. They picked him up again. Who did? Who picked who up? I don't understand the question, son. I like morenas. I like inditas. I like güeritas. I don't give a fuck, bro. As long as it's pink and it feels good, that's all that matters. And as long as she gives good dome, me vale madre que color sea. I'm past the racial thing. I don't give a fuck. Nor do I have any shame. uh, I tend to like skinny girls and thick girls, but I've had a few gorditas. Depends on how gorditas. You feel me? If they're like a little too much, yeah, probably not. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't fuck with a gordita. I have in the past, but you know, medium rare. Looky, looky. Yepa, yepa, yepa. What torta do I pick? Gordi buenas. Gordinflonas. Tortoise. You guys like tortoise? Torta France. But hey, I'm probably gonna tap out soon. Puro tortanator. Hell yeah. I remember the other day I seen an Asian girl that was kind of on the chubby side, and she was cute. Badass soup, nah. But I've been to his hood. I know his hood real well. It's called Southside Park. It's like kind of close to downtown. Extra mayo. Never know. Maybe I did run into Badass Snoop when I was young. Just didn't know who he was. Because I did live there around the time when he was there. The reason I know Snoop's hood is because Southside Park is very popular, like kind of a Chicano park. And they used to have the Cinco de Mayo there back in the days. And I remember going to check it out a couple times when I lived there. He took his lunch. Yeah, I never met him, fool. If he, I'm thinking if he grew up in Southside Park, what high school he would have went to. I don't think he would have went to Hiram Johnson. He probably would have went to maybe Sacramento High School, which is closer to that area, or maybe McClatchy. McClatchy's close to that area too. I don't think he would have went all the way to the school. The school I went to was way the fuck out with all these frivolous shenanigans. I'm uh, I'm Big Snoop. How do you used to say? Damn, it's been a while since I heard him talk. He used to be like, I'm Snoop, and I am the leader of the Playboy movement. I heard it's hard to get tickets to go to them. Of course, when these people out here talking about these frivolous shenanigans about my movement, something like that. I'm the Playboy. That's what he says. I'm the Playboy president. Fuck them fuckers. He says lollygagging. I don't got time for people that are lollygagging. Movement president. Yeah, but who knows? You never know. Maybe I did see Snoop, and I just, I didn't know who he was at that time. Maybe you never know. Maybe I did run into him. I met all kinds of people when I was out there, so you never know. Compa Snoop. He knew me. Seriously doubt it. Is Snoop, is he about my age or is he older than me? I never knew how old he was. I'm 47, so is he around the same age or is he older than me? I know he's not young. I don't think he's younger than me. Unless he's younger than me, but I don't know. The homie hangout. How's he talk? Homie hangout. Damn, he's hard to do. He kind of has kind of a cholo accent a little bit. He's like Norte. Well, you see, I grew up when I was young, I was in Concord. Homies moving excellence, and I was reading the paperwork, and you know, I seen that something wasn't right, and that's why I'm putting it out here. No, I don't gangbang. I'm a I'm a little too old for that stuff. Maybe at one point I don't give a fuck about that stuff anymore. I'm just putting the paperwork out because I feel that people should know, especially if someone's out there, you know, talking about things. I just need them to know. So you talk something like that. Shabba dabba do. Shabba dabba do. Yabba dabba dabba do. What it do? I could do Pocha One. You guys know that good Pocha One, how they talk. You be like, Shabba dabba do. Yeah, man. I'm Pocha One. You know, you got to understand the Rasa. They're putting themselves back, man. I grew up in the hippie times, and I went to college, man. I wasn't in the pinta, because I was smart, and all these other people are hella stupid, and they don't get it, you know, because I'm Pocha One, man. I can do Neil Azad too, pretty good. Hmm. Neil Azad, how he be like, look, check this out, I was born and raised in Sun Valley. My name is Neil Azad. I'm that black Southsider. I don't bust no grapes or nothing like that. I'm just here trying to tell my truth. But if you have a problem with me, just bring it. If not, put up or shut up. Because I'm from the Valle, and I just don't play that. I don't got time to be messing with my ops, man. Because I'm Neil Azad. I got greater things to do. Because I'm the Black Sureño. But yeah, yo. I would do little Wesley, but it's a little. I can't be that. I gotta be loud to be him. How's Wesley talk? Look at your fucking self. I put myself through a lot of things. Motherfucker, did you think you couldn't survive 10 years in prison? Motherfucker, do you know I had to hoop my paperwork up there? Who the fuck are you? Who do you think you are? I'm Little Wesley. You know what I mean? You can't fuck with me. I got money. You got man boobs. I kind of want to suck on them. One day I'll tell it. One day. Little Wesley. What's up, Richie Lugs? Shave your pubes. No, he said shave your fucking arms. He's like, shave my arms. He's like, yeah, shave your pubes. Hoop the encyclopedia. God, Wes Watson became a joke of himself, basically. How does Dubs talk? He was like, new video. What's up, everybody? I'm coming on here, with a new video about Little Wesley. It turns out all this time I've been talking about him, about Willy Wonka. He is really little, and he has a little Willy. And that's all I have to say. This is Dubs. Over and out. New video. Dave's hard, dude. He's like, what's cracking, Mackin? I'm gonna put it in your culo. Oh God. You think I'm gonna go over there with that fucking whore? No way. Yeah, these fucking liars. Everybody lying, chorizos and all this other bullshit. You gotta be a fucking fruit mutant to have any kind of clout on YouTube. I'm gonna take her to Pound Town. I could do Don Suave. Hopefully he's watching. He'd be like, come on, dude. I remember back in the days, I used to be over there by the Eastmont Mall. And I went to Skyline. I used to play hoop back in the old days in Oakland. And I ain't never seen you in the hood. Grab your ears. Shave your pubes. Not playing. Yeah, y'all. I'm probably gonna tap out soon. I know I said that earlier. Little Wesley. So what's up with everybody, man? How's everybody been? Hopefully everyone's doing good. Thank you guys for tapping in. Press the like. Leave a comment. Leave a little donation if you want to. That never hurts. Super chat. Take on the mob. Dave, let me go driving around and shit on his live sometimes. I've done that before where I drove around on a live. Been a minute. But yeah, man. So yeah, that was today's live with Jay number 110. Been a minute. Like I said, I get busy, man. He runs red lights. I get busy sometimes with life, and sometimes I just don't have time, man. I try to make time, but sometimes it's just hard to make time. You feel me? But I'm gonna start making more time, and you know, for sure. Doing more lives. I never stop doing them. I keep doing them. It's just sometimes I get busy with life. But hey, y'all, I'm gonna tap out. You guys be safe. Chris Green, my shortcuts, Richie Lokes, BJ Santana, Joe Mama, Iron Fisticuffs, and whoever else was on here today, Fambo, and everybody else, man. You guys be safe and keep supporting, keep checking out the lives, and yeah, just be safe and keep it moving, make your money, get some kunana, and do what you got to do. All right, y'all. It's late. Oh yeah, before I get off, I want to let you guys know. Before I get off, sorry. Uh, Chris Grima does lives now. Go check out Chris Grima's channel. Give him a subscribe. He does lives. Unfortunately, sometimes he does them when I'm working and I can't tap in. But tap into his channel, Chris Grima. Let him know. If you're in the comments, let him know about your lives. Yeah. Is he still on? Let me see, unless he tapped out. But I wanted to give Chris a little shout out because he is doing lives now on his channel. Hey, Chris, are you on here? Or did you get off? He must have got off, I think. But I wanted to give him a shout out because he is doing lives and his lives don't have a lot of people. So go check out his channel, Chris Grima. Oh, there he is. I appreciate it, bro. We love, we do bad, we freestyle talk. Leave a link, Chris, on the comments for they could go to your channel and subscribe. Before I get off, I'm giving you a shout out. I'm gonna try to get on more often, bro. Pho, I never tried pho from Costco. There's a couple of pho places I like going to sometimes. If you can, leave a link, bro, to your channel for people could go subscribe. If you have a link or something, or maybe a link to one of your lives, where they could check it out. But yeah, be sure to support Chris's channel. He's trying to grow it, and he does lives, and yeah, I'm gonna try to tap in more often, bro. My bad if I don't, man. But there it is. He left the link. He does lives from time to time, so go check out his channel. Give it a subscribe. Give it a like. And when I'm not on, you could go tap in with him, and you guys can talk bullshit. You feel me? Nah, Gato Negro and Chris Green are two different people, bro. But Julio Solario and everybody else, I'll talk to you guys later. Late. But be sure to subscribe uh to his channel. Make his channel grow. Join his lives. Talk some stuff. All right, y'all. Be safe late.